Do I put them on or put them off? I don't know. The reflection. Is the reflection annoying? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Somewhat Daily Backup on Monday, the 28th of September. I'm your host, Nick Boy Richardson, and I am joined by Peter, the Woodsman Burns.
Yeah.
Good. You've got a bit. That's a great bit.
How is everyone? It's weird that it's the end of September.
Yes.
You said that date and it scared me.
I know. Well, Banjo said to me this morning, he was like, it's Christmas very soon. And he says that every second day. And I was like, no, it's not. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know what? In like a couple of days, we can say that, yeah, it is Christmas kind of soon. You'll have a limited time to earn exclusive emotes. Get that hype train going. Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to our Twitch channel. We are so excited to have you, Chaotic Owl. What lovely blue eyes you have as well, I assume. Do owls have blue eyes?
I've only ever seen dark black beady voids.
Yeah. Well, you have to have a soul to have beautiful eyes, and they are they pick on tiny little mice. That's not fair at all. What is fair is if you give us your Prime money. What, they eat other birds?
Well, I read a thing the other day that owls and crows hate each other, and owls will kill crows out of sheer hatred and also probably hunger. But if there's enough of a murder together, they've been known to kill owls. So there you go. Bird facts.
That is incredible. You know West Side Story?
Yes.
That's based on the blood feud between the owls and the crows.
Yeah.
The famous click dance scene they couldn't do. It was just them snapping their beaks.
Scratching on the
Good. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Like I said before, give us your money. Give us your Twitch. Prime Gaming? Prime Gaming. That's what we're calling it now, Prime Gaming. Give us your Prime Gaming subscriptions, because if you do, you get a ton of really cool emotes in the chat, and also we get your money, and if we have your money, then that means we can continue to feed our children who keep asking us about whether or not it's Christmas. Do you want me to bring Badger in here right now and tell him that we have to cancel Christmas because not enough people gave us a free Prime subscription that they currently have? You monsters. You monsters. If you really want to go above and beyond, what should they do, Pete?
They should subscribe at the $250 level.
Yes.
That's way above and beyond.
Yes, it is.
Own a segment. Why not? Actually, we're sold out of those, aren't we?
We should. Well, we have more segments than we have owners.
Yeah.
Or than we have a made available for ownership. So maybe we could open up another segment.
If there's enough hype in the chat, if we get a hype train level 5, we'll open up another thingo.
Does that seem like a weird thing that, like, if you give us
money, we'll let you give us more money?
Yeah, but like heaps more money, not just like $7 a month. We're talking $250 US. I mean, it's insane.
Not a lot of hype in the chat.
No, they're real. It's a low one. It's a low one.
I guess it was a bad deal. I guess it was a bad deal.
That's fine. Although maybe it'll catch up, because last time I did this when I was doing the Paradise Killer stream last week, I was like, get me a level 5, and then no one did anything, and then suddenly it was like, vroom, and
yeah, right.
So I'm just waiting for the vroom. You got 2 minutes 15 to vump it up. But until then,
Loki Cats is down with the slurping you monster.
It's very hot. So Loki Cat, here's the thing. I made homemade pizza last night. Did the dough, did the sauce, everything from scratch. You take that bad boy out of the oven. There's a reason that we get pizzas delivered to us. Yep. Because the time from it leaving the store to arriving at your house actually gets the pizza at the perfect level. And even though I left it for what I thought was long enough, I roll the thing, serve it up, me and my partner take a bite, bam, she's in tears, I'm screaming.
Lava cheese.
And so now I've got that raw, that feeling when you burn the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can taste the flesh underneath the part of your mouth that normally doesn't have any taste. Mm-hmm. And so when I have a hot cup of joe, then I need to slurp, otherwise it's too hot on my raw little wound mouth.
The worst is in like about 24 hours time, when it all just peels and falls apart and you've got like little chunks of dead flesh flaking off the roof of your mouth. And because it's never had a chance to dry to heal, it's just wet flesh.
It's true. It's disgusting. Crazy Gal 97 says, Nick, you need a pizza oven with a stone. I've got a stone. I've got a pizza peel, and I've got a pizza stone. I don't have a pizza oven.
What's a pizza peel?
It's the...
What's What's a pizza peel?
The thing you put it, you slide it in.
Where do you live? How do you have how big is your oven?
I'm fucking fancy.
I'm
very fancy. I'm very fancy,
about you.
Peter. You know that about me. You know that I play on camera, I play the full...
Oh, I couldn't afford hair product today.
No, it's not true. I have 400 different kinds of pizza peels. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, that's enough talk about pizza peels. Let's start talking about video games, because some stuff happened over the last couple of days and I feel like we should get into it. But we can't get into it without thanking the person who makes all this possible, and that is Tim. That is Tim, of course, from the Learn Programming Academy. The backup is brought to you by Tim and the Learn Programming Academy. If you want to learn programming from a man named Tim, then Tim from the Learn Programming Academy is the Tim you want to learn programming from in an academy setting. Tim's taught over 1 million Australians. Well, 1 million people. I keep specifying Australians. I don't know if Tim wants to be branded as some sort of I only teach Australians.
Yeah, I think he shares his knowledge with the world.
I would hope so.
And maybe he shared his knowledge with his nephew, King of Realms 11, who's also in the chat. King of Realms, we'll let you throughout the rest of the show just promote your uncle in the chat, please.
Yeah. King of Realms, I don't want to see a single thing from you about any video game talk this episode. The only time you pipe up is to promote your uncle. And he's pretty easy to promote because he's got a bunch of video lessons. You don't need to read, as we've spoken about. Reading is for losers. They're easy to watch. They're available at all skill levels. You can watch them offline on your phone, and most of them are under $20. And King of Realms knows all this and will tell you over the course of this stream to the point that it will get frustrating. You will hate him for it. Mods, do not ban him. Do not time him out. Let him speak. Let him pimp his uncle, as we say. So thank you very much to Tim and the Learning Programming Academy. And speaking of pimping, we need to pimp out today's Pocketeer patron extraordinaire, and that is Jules J. Jules, thank you very much for subscribing to the Patreon. We love you, and may the game that you develop never raise questions about the internal physiological structure of your created beings. So we hope that for you today, Jules, and we say thank you very much for being a member of our Patreon community.
Love you, Jules.
We've plugged enough.
We've plugged enough.
What were you going to say, though?
Let's plug a company. I was just going to say that you saying that we love Jules may sound weird, and it is weird, but we talk about Jules all the time.
We do.
We've had company meetings about Jules.
We do. Jules has their own Slack channel.
Yeah. And
is that weird?
And little Will's not allowed into that one.
No, he's not. That's that is such an in-joke. But it's also true. He's missed out on some great Jules chat.
Yeah.
Maybe we should let him in. In fact, it's so exclusive. We haven't even let in Jules.
It's about Jules. It's not for Jules.
But everyone is allowed in pics of boats for Gus. Which does mainly what it says on the tin and then also does some other things. All right, let's jump into today's stories. We go from promoting Jules, as Pete said, to promoting a company, and that company is Amazon, because they have announced a new cloud gaming service called Luna. Unlike Google Stadia, which offers games for purchase individually, Luna users will be able to access games by subscribing to channels. The Luna Plus channel will feature a mix of games, including Resident Evil 7, Control, Panzer Dragoon, A Plague Tale: Innocence, Grid, and Yooka-Laylee, and The Impossible Lair. The other channels also in the works, including one from Ubisoft that will provide access to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, and Immortals Phoenix Rising on their launch days. Peter Burns.
Yeah.
If you were in America right now, you could sign up to the beta for this. We don't know if and when it's coming to Australia, but if you're in the States, is this the game streaming service you want?
No, not at all. This, to me, I mean, it feels like we're entering the world of cable televisioning all over again. It's like people are like, television's dead, but those services are still around. Like, it just is now existing in video games. I don't want to pay for the sports package.
Yeah.
I want to play the games that I want to play. And just because I subscribe to Game Pass, I'm going to play 1% of the games on Game Pass and know that's enough. And and Microsoft know that people feel that way as well, I think. Whereas this is if I have to pay extra money to unlock different packages or whatever, then to play one game in there and there's 4 games in there that I don't really want to play, that's going to feel like a hard purchase for me.
Yeah.
As opposed to a figure that's a little higher than one package, somewhere in the middle, and I'm only going to play the games that I want to play anyway.
Because the idea of like a base, can we lose this music?
Yeah,
it shits me. The idea of like a base level of you need to get this package before you can get the add-ons, because it's interesting that Ubisoft are getting on that. I mean, I saw a tweet, I can't remember who it was, but someone said something like, I don't even remember, but the vibe of the tweet was basically, if there is a service available involved video games, Ubisoft just slide right in there.
yeah,
it's
totally.
like, yep, here you go, here are our games. It's cool that you can get the Ubisoft stuff, but it's not cool that you have to get the base, I assume the base package before you get the add-on. So it's like, so that means Ubisoft games will be available on Ubisoft's Uplay Plus or whatever it's called, their streaming or their subscription service. It'll also be available here, but in order to get access to it here, you have to have access to the Amazon thing. And so I guess it feels like in this world where these streaming services sort of are popping up more and more, and we've got Google Stadia. Google Stadia obviously launched last November. We've got NVIDIA's GeForce Now, which left beta in February, and then xCloud as well, and then now this. That the exclusives is kind of the thing that will make these services. Yeah. Because if you think about Netflix, the reason that Netflix it really works is that they have great exclusive shows, and then they have a ton of other stuff that you watch when you're not watching their exclusives. So if they didn't have their exclusives, then I go, well, there's not a ton on Netflix that I actually really care about. It's just kind of filler content, and I could get that filler content from Amazon Prime or from Stan or from wherever else. But because the Netflix exclusives are so good, then that's why I still subscribe to that. Out of all of these ones, NVIDIA GeForce lets you play games that you already own, so it doesn't have exclusives. Google Stadia will have exclusives, but you're going to need to pay for them. And then so it's kind of like Game Pass and this. And Game Pass, like Microsoft have over 20 studios that will have games that are either exclusive to that platform, or at least you can play here as opposed to $70 spent somewhere else. It's included in your fee. At the moment, like Amazon will have, I guess, the Amazon Studio games, but they're going to need to make this worthy. They're going to have to start getting other studios involved, like Ubisoft, to be able to like tack on these channels, but at an additional price. Yeah. Like
the negatives to this, I think, are pretty clear. I guess I would say that a benefit that Amazon has over, well, I mean, Microsoft have some of the most powerful servers in the world, but Amazon do too. And their whole Amazon's like web servers are, they run a whole bunch of stuff. Like, you know, that's a big part of their business. It's a well-oiled machine. It could totally deliver what we've heard Stadia promise and not deliver on. If they get it right. And also it's an app, right? Like it's just going to be like, oh, all I need is frickin' Chrome, effectively, an Amazon branded Chrome that will go on any device, your TV that you've got at home, if it's a smart TV and you're away, you kind of got everything you need, except for that Switch Pro controller. So it's like, yeah, if you don't want to buy into the Xbox ecosystem and you're already in the Amazon ecosystem and you're not, I just don't feel like it's for core gamers. I feel like it's for people who are interested in playing games, but not really interested in buying a console, who already have a TV, who already have a bunch of Amazon Alexas around their house and stuff. And they're like, oh, this could be a fun thing for the family to have in the house.
The weird thing for me, and that's a good point about the fact that you just need a web app, because it does mean that it's also bypassing Apple's App Store rules. So the whole thing that xCloud and Stadia and stuff are dealing with Apple is that Apple won't let them put their apps on there unless they list individual games available on it. And this bypasses that because the app to run this is basically just a link. Do you need M&Ms?
Do we? No, we're fine.
Okay, cool. Is basically just a link to a web page that you run it in. So you can have this app on your home screen of your iOS device and be able to launch the web app to be able to do this. It's something that in theory those other two companies can do, but it feels like they're kind of sticking a flag in the ground and going, we're not going to do that, and that could be the hill that they die on. Yeah. But the weird thing for me is that this bucks the current Amazon trend. I'm fascinated in the development of Amazon as a company, and one of the things that has made them so successful is that they make
underpay their employees.
Number one,
no,
that is the most important thing.
Something else.
The thing that makes them so successful beyond the very good services that they provide is that they make so much money, and then they just pump that money back into their company. So they tend to not pay out a huge amount to investors, which doesn't matter because the stock price is so good for investors that they go, well, we're going to hang on to the stock, even though the dividend return is not actually what you would expect from a company that is the most valuable company in the world. So by pumping the money back into the company, it means that they can be loss leaders in a lot of areas and develop weird stuff. The reason and the way that they've done this is particularly through Prime and Amazon Prime is that the shipping, the video, there's some Kindle stuff, like lots of things are included in your Amazon Prime subscription to basically become like, if you use Amazon in any way, you're an idiot if you don't have Prime, because it is such good value across so many parts of the Amazon ecosystem that Prime just saves you money because, and from the shipping alone, right? So that's how they position Prime. But then they make this and they don't tuck it into Prime. This feels like a total win if it's tucked into Prime. If Prime gets you the base subscription,
yeah,
and then I pay an extra $6 or whatever a month for the Ubisoft channel, then I'm like, right, maybe you have my attention on this because I can access these other publishers, streaming platforms or whatever for less because it's already included in something that I already have. That seems like the win. But for this, it's just like, it doesn't have the games, and the fact that it's its own standalone cost just seems, this is the one thing that they're not doing it with, and I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it would be that totally would make sense. I mean, I think they've already talked about some Twitch integration where if you go to the app and you're looking at a game, it'll show you who's playing that game on Twitch, and you can just like seamlessly jump across and watch someone play the thing that you're thinking about. Or I think if you're watching someone play on Twitch, you can just click the game icon and it'll launch it in a new browser window for you, and you suddenly are playing. It's like, that's really good. Obviously, Twitch is a huge thing for gamers, and it was a great buy for Amazon years ago. But yeah, I don't know that that's enough to sell a thing to me. But if it was bundled into my Prime subscription and I could play, I was watching someone play something, small that they've got. The thing is, again, it's exclusives, right? Like if they had an exclusive, what are they working on? They've got like a Lord of the Rings tie-in game.
Yeah, they've got that MMO.
There's like 2 MMOs they're building.
And then they have that, oh God, it's so forgettable. The one that they launched, then unlaunched.
Yeah.
Amazon unlaunch game.
Chaos
Crucible.
Yeah. Crucible New World. There you go. So, like if you were watching someone play that and you're like, oh, that looks really cool, and you could click and play it. Yes, that's really cool. But there's got to be a bunch of games like that because I'm not going to do that with ukulele.
Totally. Yeah. And Panzer Dragoon and Control, even though Control is great, that I played last year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the controller looks cool. I think it's the best controller out of all those. Like, this is a Wi-Fi controller just for a streaming service. It looks good.
Jump to it.
The purple is nice. It looks better than the Stadia one. Yes, Amazon Prime is available in Australia too, whoever asked. And it's a very good deal here as well. So yeah, if this gets included in it, then that's a good move. If not, then I'm giving this one a miss for now.
Yeah.
All right. Something else we're going to miss. Among Us 2. Peter.
Yeah.
I should have
Where's
Gus here, because literally cancelled before release. Which is just yeah.
Only Gus could have come up with that.
That was
ludicrous bullshit.
An astonishing moment where you and I think if you watch that video back, make eye contact in a way of just going, what is he saying right now? And then it turns out that, yes, cancel before release is a thing. Mad Dog Menon says Raj came to the Among Us studios. Correctamundo. The developers of the hit social deduction game Among Us just announced they have cancelled a planned sequel because of the popularity of the first game. Though that sequel had just been announced 36 days ago, developer Inner Sloth wants to support the game that's so popular right now. Quote, the main reason we were shooting for a sequel is because the codebase of Among Us 1 is so outdated and not built to support adding so much new content. However, seeing as so many people are enjoying Among Us makes us really want to be able to support the game and take it to the next level. How successful do you have to be to go, we're going to stop making out the second game and we're just going to update the first one? It's wild.
It is wild. And like, yeah, I see that, like, there's, I mean, I don't know how many more copies of this game they could possibly sell. It's spent like 3 weeks going gangbusters, but yeah, like my initial reaction was good on them. Support the thing that is now has a massive player base.
Totally.
But their point of the code base being so naff that they can't. That they can't do enough about it. It's almost like they need to go the DayZ model, and hopefully it works this time, of going like, cool, you bought the mod, you bought version 1, we're going to build it again from the ground up over here, while still supporting this as it is a little bit, but, you know, in a year's time, 2.0 is going to be the version of this that you all wanted to see. And yeah, have two teams working, a team working on support and implementing some new features to this, and building 2.0 that's going to be like, here is how we always envisioned this thing working, and now that there's a player base for it, here's like some new stuff. And, you know, maybe give it to them for free if they already own the first one or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
is that a bad business move?
Like, you just make it a platform, right? Like, it just becomes, you figure out a different way to monetize it. So Evil Spy Boy says, so they're making number 2, they just make it backwards compatible and give it the same name. Yeah, totally. They're just going to, one day you're going to launch the game and you're not even going to realize that you're playing Among Us 2. But you actually are, because everything about the back end of the game has changed. I think it's a really good move. I kind of expected that this would happen when this started blowing up in this way. I was like, this is a very bad time to release a sequel. And so, yeah, they're just going to start putting in some sort of, I still have not played the game, so I don't know whether or not there's skins or something that you can buy
I think
in there.
we're the only 2 people on the planet that still haven't played this game.
But I feel like you're like me as well, which is at this point, I won't.
Yeah.
It has reached the point that so many people are talking about it, and so many people are streaming it, and so many people, I just see it everywhere, that I now resent it, and I am becoming a curmudgeon, and I'm like, I will not play this game because I don't care, because it is too popular. Which is terrible.
It totally is. I don't feel that way about it. I don't resent it, but I'm also like, there's enough people playing it that I feel like I've seen what the experience is. Yeah, and that means I don't need to feel the experience. Yeah, it's like when you go to YouTube and you watch people rides in California with a GoPro strapped to their head. It's like, it's like I was really there.
Totally. This is exactly like that. And I get lied to enough in real life, so I don't need to have people that I know online also lie at me. So that feels like an insight into my life that you didn't need to know.
You're a good liar as well.
I'm a great liar. Yeah, that's not something to be proud of at all. So anyway, good news for them. I'm glad that the game is going so well, and yeah, I think this is definitely the right move. It will be very hard. They also acknowledge that it will be very hard to do, because they're basically like, we wanted to release a sequel not because we had astonishing new ideas, but just because the current game runs so badly on such unoptimized code that we were like, in order to add anything to this, we need to rewrite the whole thing. And so now they're like, well, we need to rewrite the whole thing while still keeping it live and not ruining everything. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Up next, speaking of No, I'm not going to say that. That'll get us sued. Let's just go directly with Michelle Ancels may have left Ubisoft after an investigation into toxic management. We reported on this last week that Michelle Ancels, the developer or lead developer on Beyond Good and Evil, had left Ubisoft and was going to work on with animals. And we were like, oh, that's lovely. I said, that's a weird time to be leaving. I would not like to be leaving at this time because everyone who's leaving Ubisoft at the moment are accused of doing something terrible. And it turns out that Michelle Ancels may have been accused of doing something terrible. French news outlet Libertarian published 2 reports in which multiple employees say Ancels created a toxic work environment and mismanaged Beyond Good and Evil 2. The reports alleged that he would force development teams to abandon months of work on a whim. He frequently changed the creative vision for Beyond Good and Evil 2, even inventing new features while talking to press that were never communicated to the development team beforehand. Burnout and depression were allegedly common, and Ancels was supposedly so volatile that Ubisoft had to separate him from development staff by layers of middle management. One source told the newspaper, quote, "He is capable of explaining to you that you're a genius, that your idea is wonderful, and then to dismantle you in a meeting, saying you are nothing but shit, that your work is nothing, and not speak to you for a month." However, after that interview was published, Ancels posted on Instagram denying the accusations, quote, "I will fight for the truth because such accusations are a shame. I worked hard on every one of my projects and always had respect for the teams. The accusations are wrong." So
this is all your fault, Nick.
Yeah, it probably is, isn't it?
You made this happen.
Yeah. There's not a ton here other than, I guess my takeaway from this is that I'm glad that Ubisoft seemed to be doing the work that they said that they would do, which is clear house, right?
Yeah. This is, I mean, it's not, I think because he's such a big name in gaming, if this is true, this is, they could have been more public about it. Ubisoft, Guillemot could have come out and said, Ancels has to go because XYZ.
Yep.
Obviously, they let Ancels slip out the door, yes, in a very suspicious time, which you picked up on. But I think if they were confident that he was guilty of everything he's been accused of, they would have said it openly, and maybe they're still investigating, which is why they haven't yet, but they just asked him to leave. Shit, dude. It just, it reminds me of every French film from Hollywood. It's like, this is how French people are. They're volatile.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, he's just living into a stereotype of being like, crazy one minute and like beautiful and artistic another. It's like,
yeah, totally.
He's a wild man.
BMac in the chat said they are not clearing house; they are opening the door and hoping for the best. The one thing I'll say, and not in any defense of him, but I think there's a different, like, this is that thing where there's a spectrum, and in terms of like. In what we're seeing right now, not just with Ubisoft, but across the world, that there's a difference between, I feel like, someone who is like a sexual predator in the workplace and someone who was an asshole boss. And it sounds like, if this is true, he's much more on the asshole boss side, as opposed to someone who is like preying on people. And so while asshole boss is not, you do not want to work for an asshole boss, I don't necessarily think that a company has to come out and name and shame somebody and go like, oh, we're firing you, and to the world, this is the reason that this person is fired or let go or given redundancy or however he left. Because that's like ruining of someone who may have been, yes, a toxic person to be around, but not someone who, I think, we just have to draw a line. We have to be considerate of the fact that not everyone who does something bad deserves to have their life blown up. And for him to leave, I think that him leaving the company, that's the important part. It's like, get him out of there so that doesn't continue to happen. That is the responsible thing to do. I don't necessarily think that every company needs to come out and say, this is why this person was fired, because there are just like, there's just layers to all of this stuff.
Totally. Yeah. And Steph's home and Scardy's gone psycho. Yeah, he was potentially, I mean, he's been accused of being at least emotionally manipulative. But also, it's like, this is the kind of person that maybe should never have been in a lead position anyway. Yeah. Like, the kind of person that is like an artiste, but also just not a good manager, clearly, based on these accusations. Yeah. And found themselves at the top of a chain where they just shouldn't have been. They should have had support from above, as opposed to, so it's like, he's obviously grown up in the Ubisoft ecosystem. Rayman was very successful, much smaller team than this Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is this huge project. And again, I'm not defending him, because I'm saying that he should never have been put into that position. Yeah, totally. His attitude and his work flow should have been recognized by people above him, so that he never got put in that position to be in charge here. And he's probably a bit of an egomaniac, like all like successful creatives tend to be. But it's good that he's gone. Because I'm sure it wasn't good for his mental health, and it definitely wasn't good for the people below him. So it's like everyone's now separated from each other.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do feel, and I feel like I'm just slightly off a lot of the sort of mainstream games media at the moment, in terms of like, there's the with all the clearinghouses and stuff across multiple parts of gaming, I think is super good. All these people do not deserve to be working in the places that they're working if they're creating bad work environments, if they're manipulative, if they're emotionally abusive, if they're sexual predators, whatever it is. Like, I think all that stuff is totally good that they're getting out. I think that there's also just that level of like, I don't think companies owe everybody an explanation about everything that's going on internally in their company all the time. I think that even if you have this bad track record, you don't necessarily need to come out and go, we're letting go of X, Y, and Z for X, Y, and Z reasons. I think that if you can create the culture, like, what do you actually want to happen is my thing. And my thing is like, you want change. You actually want these people out. You want them gone. Yes, you could argue that being able to like publicly say, someone very prominent within our company, we're firing you for these reasons, and that might create some sort of change in people elsewhere in the world. I don't necessarily subscribe to that belief. I think that people are doing this, are always going to be doing this anyway. So yeah, anyway, it's good that he's gone. If this is all true, it's all alleged at the moment, but I feel like at the moment the allegations seem to be pretty well founded. So we'll see if anything more comes out, but if not, it's good that he's out.
He's gone to a better place.
Yeah, which is he's literally gone to a farm upstate. Like, are we sure that they didn't kill him? That's my question.
Yeah, what's the face replace stuff called? Tech called deep fake. Is that Instagram video a deep fake of him with a monkey or whatever it was?
And he's deep underground, something that is deeply good.
Above ground?
Sure, is that you could install Xbox Series
Again,
X
we need Gus.
games. We do. We need the segue king. You could install games on your new Xbox before you buy them. New feature coming to the Xbox operating system. Actually, I assume it's coming to the old one as well, because it's just the operating system. Allows players to download any game before its launch, whether they've pre-ordered it from the Xbox store or not, so that the games on disc are as ready to go as their digital versions.
This is good.
This is cool.
This is very good for people with shit internet, like most Australians.
Hello. Because you buy a disc copy of a game and you're like, cool, and then you put it in, and it's like, we need to install 21 gig worth of whatever, and there's a day one patch and all that crap, and you go, well, why do I own this disc again? Yeah,
totally. This is really great on consoles. I'd love to see it on the PC side of things as well. And the reason I'd love to see it on the PC side of things, and sorry to move to PC straight away, this is like an Xbox thing, but it's like the way that the Windows Store and the Xbox beta app work on your PC with all your Game Pass games and stuff, all the data is hidden anyway. Like, you can't touch that. So it's like, just let me install everything. I mean, again, I already own it with Game Pass, but it's like, to be able to preload shit is such an advantage for, again, gamers without great internet, because those day one patches, even buying a disc version, it's like you put it in there and it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm playing tomorrow. you have to install the 60 gig off the Blu-ray disc onto your hard drive and then do a 20 gig patch. It's like,
yeah, and also like it would be cool because there's definitely, even with digital stuff, where you go, okay, I've bought this. I want to make sure that I'm ready to play before it, like whatever, when it comes out, a game that you're really excited for. You can't always preload that. Ideally, like I would be happy if they go, okay, as soon as it's available for pre-order, even if it's 2 months ahead, if there is any code on the servers, then let me download it, and then you can keep patching. So if you've gone gold and you've given it to the servers, then let me download it and then just keep pumping patches out over the course of like a month as you update it, and that will just all happen in the background of my thing. Totally. And so that, yeah, like that's, I would love that on everything. This is one of those like cool,
this is next gen.
This feels next gen. Exactly. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Also, the only other thing about this, which is tangentially related, is did you see the price of the Xbox expandable storage?
Yeah, I saw two sides of things. It's like everyone was like, "That's so expensive," and it's like anyone who's bought NVMe for PC is also like, "That's pretty normal." It's like we're talking about so it's a terabyte of NVMe like expansion.
Yep,
which is going to be expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a custom like format so that you can just plug and play, potentially hot swappable. Like, I don't know if that's been confirmed, but like consoles on, plug the new disc in, you're away.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's actually a fair price point. But yes, it is a scary figure to be like, oh, I'm going to have to spend another $370 if I want more hard disk space on my, or solid disk space on my machine.
Over $300, and then you look at the launch price of the Xbox Series S is $500.
Yeah.
So it's over half the cost of the S in the first place. So it's kind of like,
you should just be able to buy an S and then tether it into your X.
Totally, yeah. In the same
with
way,
an E cable, so you have the S, then your E, and then your X.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's very good. You can have an upstairs and downstairs one, and then you kind of like, it's like you can raid the storage both, so you can have like one in your bedroom, one in the living room, and you have access to both games. But yes, it is crazy expensive, but sure, that's kind of where they're getting you in terms of, I guess, if you get that S. But you can install as many games as you want on that, right up until your 1 terabyte limit. So there you go.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on that? You're just popping a little PC chub over there about pre-install.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing. It's a great thing for gamers everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing that voice. I feel like that voice over the last 10 weeks has just become a thing that this office does now.
That was Mikey Barra.
No, it was not. That voice has been co-opted. All right. What else has been co-opted? The beauty of the Fall Guy is now has been broken. I would argue that the Fall Guys devs are in the midst of a civil war internally about what the inside of a Fall Guy looks like. You definitely would have seen this tweet around over the weekend, but it is very amusing that the Fall Guys Twitter account came out and said, well, you asked for it. This is official law now. Remember, humans are shown for scale. Fall Guys are 183 centimeters tall. This Fall Guy is happy. Look in his eyes. And we can't take it back. And so
which one did you want to look at first? Am I looking at the last one first?
That one.
This one first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
fucked.
That's what a Fall Guy looks like.
I love it.
I just love the choice. Like, there's a lot of choices here that I just think are hysterical, which just show very like creative thinking about the ideas of it has to bend its knees as opposed to just having shorter legs. It's like constantly in a bend position.
It's also, it's like, this looks like a skeletal structure, but there's like pectoral muscle.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know what layer we're looking at here, but this thing would need more muscle than it has. This body to be held up by these tiny little bits of sinew.
Totally, and you have to think it doesn't answer. Is it muscle the rest of the body? I love the eyes connecting. That's phenomenal. And then there's also a mouth in there, but there's no mouth on Fall Guys. So what is that mouth doing? Does that mean that it's always?
I didn't notice that.
But the flesh is absorbing the sound, so you never actually hear the Fall Guy scream.
How does it eat?
How does it eat? Oh my god, I never even asked that question. Anyway, so someone definitely asked that question, because then the next one is also...
The team is divided?
Yeah, so someone else on the team was like, no, they're a happy airbag with a big squeaky heart. They've got beady bean eyes, ambition and yellow team spirit. They have bounce and finger beans and silly legs. And then all they have is a heart.
Cute.
And then they also said that it's not the size of a human. It's the size that you assumed that they were. And I just think it's hilarious that this is the stuff that, I mean, the Twitter account is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that came out, I just thought this was funny, is the Fall Guys Twitter guy tweeted out and said, "Me to the team, don't worry, nobody believes what I tweet on Fall Guys Twitter, IGN," and then just links to the article, which I thought was very funny. And I said, sorry, go ahead.
It is a very, good. I had that all up. I thought I didn't for a second. It is a very funny Twitter account. I think we've talked about it in the past. It's worth following just for the memes alone.
Totally.
Whose design did we do on Wednesday night? That was the meme lord.
Oh yeah,
it's gone.
I'll find him, Phil, and I'll find
that person is definitely subscribed, following this Twitter account, and you should too if you want to be as up with the memes as this person is.
Absolutely. And I had also said, I've said it before on the show, but I do think that it's worth mentioning that the Fall Guys Twitter account was literally just one guy who works there, who said, "Oh, we should make a Twitter account," and everyone was like, "Who's good at tweeting?" He goes, "Oh, I like tweeting, I'll do
Dingo.
it," and then has just created 1.5 million. Dingo, thank you very much. 1.5 million followers. It seems like. I guess that it only works because it's Fall Guys. But it seems like I would, if I was that guy, I would also be slightly pissed that it's like, oh my god, all my good shit is just going on this sort of weird Twitter account that I don't own. When I leave the studio, I have to give up my 1.5 million followers on Twitter because it's just him tweeting.
Yeah, but I feel like, if that was the career path he wanted to take, there's no way Bethesda, now Microsoft, aren't going to go, "Oh, we should get this guy for
so true
the next thing that we do that's funny."
So true. So true.
Like Commander Keening or whatever, it's like whatever has that kind of similar energy. Like,
yeah, totally. Okay, up next. Sorry, I just was avoiding a phone call. WoW players are going back in time. So this is a little one, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. That many World of Warcraft players on the Khadgar server are experiencing an odd and terrifying glitch that is de-leveling their characters from 120 to around level 85, the level cap back when Cataclysm was released in 2010. Some are even finding clones of their characters sporting the exact armor and weapons they wore during that era, while others are logging in to find that their characters are missing entirely. Fortunately, Blizzard is investigating the issue and has confirmed that no characters have been permanently deleted. I just love the fact...
This is Y2K.
Yes, this is that totally. This is that thing of going, I mean, I love this, but also I'm scared of it. We track and remember everything.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it in that aspect. It's like, yeah, they can roll back your account to the second across 15 years.
And it is hilarious that you go back and it's like, oh, this is what you wore at this time. There was in the article I was reading, I think it was on PC Gamer, they were also talking about the fact that there was one guy who had was talking about this on Reddit, was saying that his Death Knight has gone back to level 81. It's changed its name back to the name before he changed the name of his character and stuff. It's just like, you are just living back in that time. And how many games do we have that you could roll back the past on and kind of see the progression of what you go through?
That's why WoW needs to survive forever. Even if Blizzard go under, with Activision dragging them down by the heels, which is how I envision Blizzard going down.
Yeah.
Someone needs to save WoW and just keep it running on a server somewhere, because since it began, it's been this amazing, interesting social experiment. And the fact that these things keep happening in the game are amazing. Like, you know, I want it to stay 10 years ago and for someone to document it. I'm sure there's a journo playing in that server right now going like, all right, this is what time travel feels like. There's going to be an op-ed on Kotaku tomorrow.
Totally.
You know, when the virus spread and there was just a code virus and it wiped out players, and
the blood, tainted blood, corrupted blood thing.
Yeah,
which is so funny. Oh my god,
it's amazing.
So if you don't know the corrupted blood thing, I don't remember all the details, but it was basically it was a virtual pandemic that happened in WoW, and there was a boss, a dungeon boss or a raid boss or something, and they cast like one of their attacks would sort of drain your HP, and then it would send, like, you could. It had like an AoE or something that you could send it to other people and debuff everybody around you. And then it ended up breaking out of the confines of the raid and into the world. And so basically this AoE debuff just started spreading across World of Warcraft and just killing low-level characters and stuff, which is just so funny. And then I remember there was a great article about it 8 or 9 months ago that I was reading, and they said that it was so true to how real viruses spread that scientists...
Black Death points out that, but it spread as it infected the player's pets. The debuff left when you left the raid, but it, you know, obviously a bit of code snuck through, and that's all a virus needs. All it needs is one person to sleep with an animal, and suddenly...
Yeah, totally. And then but scientists and disease specialists and stuff ended up studying WoW and seeing how this spread, and they were like learning things from it and saying that this is exactly how viruses spread in real life. Anyway, it was very, very. It was very, very funny. So anyway, WoW, like, and that kind of thing can only happen in these weird interconnected games that persist forever. All right, and then just a little... We got some leftovers
speed round.
Yeah, just some little things that aren't necessarily worthy of a big chat by themselves, but will probably end up being the biggest chat in the entire show. The first one, on Reddit, this is unconfirmed at the moment. There was an unconfirmed Starfield image leak, so the new Bethesda / Xbox Game Pass game, the one set in space. There's a couple of images dropped on Reddit of a spaceship, and there's the spaceship right now, which we have no idea what that spaceship is for. Is that our spaceship? Is that someone else's spaceship? Are we going to blow that spaceship up? Is that our hub spaceship? It's just a spaceship at the moment. There's another picture.
Speculation.
Yeah. Look, this is higher level analysis right now. Someone in a spacesuit outside a spaceship. Is it the same spaceship? Is this our spaceship? We're going to blow up this spaceship.
Is it air in their tanks, or are they breathing something else and it's an alien?
Interesting.
That shoulder looks human, but is it actually the knee of an alien?
Is that a Fall Guy? The tank. There's a close up of the UI of the tank. It says O2, so it is oxygen, but then it goes all the way to CO2. So it's like O2
recycling your breath.
Yeah. So is that how oxygen tanks work? Like when you breathe out CO2, does it go back into a different compartment of the tank? I'd never thought about this before.
Like no, in scuba tanks. But
in space tanks, you couldn't have...
in a space tank, there's... I mean, you know, this is all sci-fi bullshit. But maybe there's a system in here that extracts the carbon from the CO2 and recycles it. There you go, for rebreathers. So then
right, okay.
Then you just send the carbon out into the atmosphere.
I just feel like, and again, someone will have this information. Maybe there's an astronaut watching in the chat right now, but I feel like something that could vent CO2 also could potentially let in like has to allow for some depressurizing or something, and you could blow up. That's the extent of my space knowledge. Is that if there's a hole that can open so CO2 can come out, does that also not mean that it could potentially have some sort of vulnerability to let whatever is in space in?
I wonder if the pressure
alien.
when you vent the carbon out, does it get so pressurized by the vacuum of space that it becomes diamonds instantly?
Interesting.
Here's some idiot chemistry for you all.
Did you watch the Hilary Swank show on Netflix?
Yeah, I watched like 2 episodes and I was like, this is real shit.
Yeah, it was pretty boring. But there was a scene where they needed to get spoilers.
Shut up, Simon.
Well, yeah, totally. There's a scene where you needed to get water out of the spaceship from outside, and they electromagnetize the astronaut's suit, and then so it draws the water out, so the water is attracted to it, and then she floats back down to the door, and the water follows from the side of the ship. She creates her own gravitational pull of pulling the water, and then they put the water in bags. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So, just do that, but reverse with some CO2.
Everyone's talking about vacuums in the chat, and no one cares. Not even this astronaut cares. Move on.
Pete.
Yep.
Sorry, this phone call that I've been avoiding. I just need to go check something. So just Phil.
Go and check it.
Just Phil. Just keep.
I'm the right guy to Phil as well. I'm the right guy to Phil.
You're the guy that wants
to
talk. Just make sure you're still talking about CO2 when I come back.
Okay, cool. Let's go and look at a periodic table of the elements. Now, I want to talk to you guys about lead. The reason I like lead so much is because it has, and I'm sure all the scientists out, this is a bad image, but it'll do. I'm sure all the scientists out there will tell you that the elemental symbol for lead is PB, which are my initials. Here you go, number 82. No
Excellent.
pressure, Pete. Are you already back?
Yeah,
we only just started talking about lead.
Yeah, sorry. Do you want to keep talking about lead?
No, I'm done.
My partner messaged and said I dropped the parcel somewhere that I'm supposed to be posting, and the baby's bottle. She's out for a walk with the kids, and she was like, I think it's probably on the steps outside, but can you go check? So I need to go check. I found it. Everything's good. The parcel's here. The bottle's here. Means there's a very hungry baby somewhere, but she'll be fine, right? Babies can skip like 8 or 9 meals and they're still fine. She's got a lot of baby fat on her that we can just burn right off.
We're thinking about putting her on a diet anyway.
Yeah. She's such a little chub monster. We feed our baby fine. It's okay. Nobody freak out. I love that kid. Moving on. Monster Hunter. Rise Jewel Blades, whatever it's called. Monster Hunter. What is it called?
Rise Jewel Blades.
It is Rise Jewel Blades. There's some Tokyo Game Show footage released of this game. There was like 20 minutes of gameplay. It is a very good looking game to be running on the Switch.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about this.
Totally. It looks fantastic.
It looks fantastic. It looks like the main game, just slightly lower resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
look at that doggy head.
Look at that dog.
So you want to say? Is there any moment in this that you wanted to?
No, I was not expecting it. I don't know why I was expecting this, but I was expecting it to look more like a 3DS game. I don't know why. Maybe that's just my experience of Monster Hunter in handheld. But this actually I just go, oh yeah, hell, this is exactly what I wanted.
Like
this kind of game.
It doesn't look next gen, but it does look like great for the Switch. All the physics is working. There's your little grapple the air for no reason hook thing.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah, cool. Farmville is shutting down, which I thought was amazing that Farmville was still going. Rip indeed. Did you ever play Farmville?
No. I feel like I played a knockoff of it, maybe.
Yeah. Stardew Valley.
Boo. No, did you play?
Yeah, a little bit. It was fun at this time. It was like because it was the game where like you you sent things to your friends on Facebook back when Facebook was this beautiful thing that we're all excited about that was built on the idea of rating how hot women are. But it was like this fun social thing of being able to like, oh, I'll send you a whatever to whoever. And now I'm just so over talking to anybody that who gives a shit. But yeah, Farmville 2 is what they want everyone to play, and then there's Farmville 3 coming to mobile. But I just thought, well, there you go. Farmville.
So it's not the death of Farmville, the brand.
No,
it's just,
no.
Yeah, just
I wonder,
one Farmville.
How many people are still playing Farmville? Like, how many people are still playing
Contrasted
like,
Wife
games?
Penny Contrasted is still playing, apparently.
Oh no, the original? Because I bet Farmville 2 sucks. I bet they like changed the look of it, and they added all sorts of like weird, pointless things. I'm looking at oh yeah, it's horrible. Oh
yeah,
God,
I played like similar things that were like dragons and vampires or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Something real cool like that.
So goodbye, Farmville, and then thanks for, I would argue, really wrecking video games in terms of microtransactions and just everything that Farmville and those kinds of games introduced into our lives. And then the final thing that I wanted to mention is that Final Fantasy 16 is apparently coming sooner than we think. How soon did you think it was coming?
I was like, not before the end of September. Surely. Surely not.
Well,
are you telling me it's before the end of September?
It's coming out tomorrow, Pete. It's the only time it can do it.
First.
Yes, so Final Fantasy 16 coming out tomorrow. It was supposed to be a PS5 launch title. Ipso facto, the PS5 is coming out tomorrow. No, apparently, according to Jason Schreier, Bloomberg's video game journalist, that he said on a podcast, on the Triple Click podcast, that the development process for Final Fantasy 16 started nearly 4 years ago, which means the game has already hit some significant milestones of development, and Schreier also claimed the game will launch sooner than expected. I think people were thinking it's probably like a year or two off, and so I have seen some people say this could be a first half of 2021 game, which is not what look at that man and his dog. He's just macking on that dog.
Yeah, it's a puppy.
Yeah,
and now it's a Ray.
So there you go.
I wanted to call out Rotful old 360, who just put letters in randomly. Apparently. Thank you for subscribing again. But also, Everray said that Final Fantasy 16 is being released before release. So this is the antithesis of Gus's plans for every game.
When he said that, I was like, I've genuinely lost respect for you as someone who covers video games.
Yeah. I was sure he had a point.
Yeah.
And then it never came.
And then it just drifted away.
It was like, that was his point.
Yeah. The point was cancelled before release. There was actually more stuff, I will say, adding to the leftovers. There was a trailer for some...
There's no "the" in Rolling on Floor Laughing Out Loud. It's Ruffle, not Rotful.
Yeah, it's not Rotful. It's Ruffle. It's definitely Ruffle.
Loki Cat, stop trying to defend the lesser patrons.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Let me just make sure.
Suffer. Loki Cat AU, very clear. Capital L, capital C, capital AU. I know you're Loki, I know you're a cat, and I know you're from Austria.
Yeah. So, according to the internet, Rotful does exist as Rolling on the Floor Laughing, but no one has used it.
One person has used it.
So, okay, so for comparison, because let's use Urban Dictionary, and I don't mean to shame you, Rotful, but I'm shaming you. The prophecy yet to be fulfilled, says Goose.
Rolling on the filth.
So, Rolling on the Floor Laughing, Rotful, has 1,218 upvotes on Urban Dictionary.
That's a lot of upvotes. That sounds good to me.
1,200 people are like, that's good. Ruffle, Rolling on Floor Laughing, has 8,000 upvotes. So it's nearly 8 times more legitimate than the first one.
There you go. Rotful. the illegitimate ruffler.
So I don't know, Rotful, if there's some sort of...
What's the word of the day on Urban Dictionary today?
Let me have a look.
Go to the homepage.
Also, Rotful, while I do this, can you look up how to change your Twitch name? Because maybe you could do it right now.
I want to see it. I'm going to look it up.
I want to see it happen as well. The word of the day is steezy, which is style with ease.
Name changes are here. 2017. You could have done this years ago.
We did it. Remember, this used to be the Loki. The Back Pocket used to be the Loki channel, and we changed it. I think you can do it once every 30 days.
Yep. So go to settings.
Yep.
Go to your profile.
Yep.
You'll see profile settings. You'll see your email address. You'll see your username. You should see an indication that you're eligible to change your username. Click the edit button, delete the T, and hit go.
Yeah. And then we'll see that it's changed. Now, we're not going to stop this stream until you do that. And some people might be like, oh, cool. Like, that means they're going to be streaming forever. No, two things. One, we're going to read out news.com.au entertainment headlines. But two, and most importantly, for every minute that you have not changed this, I'm going to take the Twitch Prime money that you subscribe to us and your Patreon money, and then I am going to donate it to Republican senators in America in their campaign election bids. So you are going to be furthering Trump's agenda by not changing your username on Twitch. And I think that that's pretty awful.
Please, everyone, harass Rotful into changing his name and save the fate of the world.
Yeah. So that is pretty awful. Rotful says no, and I'm hoping that very soon Ruffle will say no, because good Lord, we gave you all the info you need to be able to accomplish this. Please do hold up your end of the bargain and do it. While we're waiting for that, Peter, is there what should we be telling people about what to expect from us this week? We back on Thursday?
We're back on Thursday, normal Thursday. Okay. There's going to be a playback tomorrow of Elk, which we've got an edit for waiting for us. Have you watched that yet?
I have not. I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it straight after this.
Yeah.
Straight after Rotful changes his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then normal show on Thursday, news on Wednesday, potentially another little sneaky thing on Wednesday, depending on how things pan out. Right.
What is that? I don't even know.
Oh, Gus was talking about it this morning.
Oh, right. Oh, yes.
It's the cancelled before release show.
Good.
We talk about games that were cancelled before release.
And the...
Yes, Rotful says, I guess my hands are tied. Yeah, baby. You changed that.
Yeah, do it right now. This is ridiculous.
For democracy.
Do it for democracy, because otherwise I am going to start donating some of your money to Tom Cotton, who has called a Republican congressman for Arkansas, I believe, who has called for military to occupy America's cities. In an editorial in the New York Times that then resulted in him being ditched as an editorializer, but he is basically a fascist. He holds an 87.7% voting record for Trump, and so you're going to be Tom Cotton's getting $5 to spread his heinous, horrific agenda if you have not changed your name. And I'm loading up PayPal right now. It's happening. It's me getting the PayPal, isn't this?
There you go. Slamming those keys.
Yeah. Do you want me to donate to Mitch McConnell, who is literally the worst fucking turtle you have ever seen in your entire life?
Oh, don't.
He's like Palpatine. He's Palpatine. He's actually Palpatine. He has no soul. He is genuinely someone who the world would be better off if he had never been born. And I hope that his family are watching so that they know that as well. A true piece of shit, and not in the way that you guys are a piece of shit, where I mean it with love. Peter, what's happening in news.com.au?
Yeah, I was trying to find the top stories from Uruguay. But they all seem very depressing.
Well, that's surprising that Uruguay don't have happier stories.
Yeah. I'll read this. According to The Guardian, yes, I'm happy. We're suddenly drowning in people. Argentinians flock to Uruguay amid pandemic. So about 15,000 to 20,000 Argentinians are estimated to have moved to Uruguay since the pandemic began. Augustina Val's phone is ringing off the hook. It started as a trickle. This is a quote from Val's. It started as a trickle when the pandemic first hit Argentina, but now we're getting over 20 calls a day, she said from her office in Uruguay's luxury beach resort of Punta del Este.
There you go.
So that's what's happening in Uruguay right now.
And I will tell you something that is the opposite of that, which is the Playboy mansion is getting a makeover because it had been left to rot since Hugh Hefner died in 2017. And the new owner is now finally renovating it. And I assume cleaning it as well would be the first thing that I would do if I bought that place. Yeah, so apparently when he died, it was just like no one goes there anymore, which makes sense. Why would you go there if the person who owns it isn't there anymore? And it just kind of started falling apart. It always looked like, I'm sure in the day when it was built, it was very impressive. But whenever you saw pictures of it recently, it had that feeling of like, oh, this is old Hollywood falling apart slowly in front of our eyes.
Yeah. It was like, it decayed with the man.
Yeah.
It was like the picture of Dorian Gray. The house got old and naff while Hugh Hefner stayed young and very sexy.
Yeah.
Because we all know he stayed young and very sexy.
True. But then the picture broke or whatever happened to that story and he aged like 50 years in 10 minutes. Okay, so Rutful, you have 30 more seconds because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We ask you to
What
do
is going
something
on?
and I just don't understand why he's not.
Liz Dahlia asked, will next week's public holiday impact the Pocket Stream on Monday? Do we adhere to public holidays?
That's a good question. We need to have this conversation as
We'll have this conversation.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out. It might just be Gus by himself.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, cool. Well, the whole like public shaming of a person to change their username just didn't work.
Seemed to fail, didn't it?
That's really sad.
They're probably doing it. Rotful is probably doing it right now and can't interact with us because it's so busy changing his name.
You would hope so. You would hope so.
They're just never going to come back.
I don't know why Gus just said dick pic of Dorian Gray, but what? That's terrible. Does the penis just always stay the same age, but then it grows old and decrepit in the picture? Is that how that works? Peter?
No, the picture of the dick would get old. And
yeah.
And Hefner would be able to get erect still.
Right, okay. This stream really took a downwards turn.
And whose fault is it? Rotful's.
And it's all Rotful's fault, exactly. So, all right,
right, maybe we should
close it out. We should just close it out because we're just going to be spending our entire day here doing this as opposed to the work to actually make sure that the rest of the show gets made. Of course, a reminder that Republican senators will be sent money after this stream, so congratulations. I think I said congressman before. I'm just going to send some money to Republicans. I don't know which ones yet. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. If you want to continue to support us in our support of trash Republicans, then subscribe to the Patreon at any tier, but the $5 tier or more will get you access to the Back Pocket Discord, which is a very nice place to be, as opposed to here where we bully people into changing their usernames. We're going to be back tomorrow, like Pete said, with a gameplay video, and then back on Thursday night, Wednesday morning for the news, and then Thursday for the show. We thank you everyone for sticking around and spending some time with us. Pete, should we just back it out?
I think we should.
And I just hope
see you on Thursday for some lead chat.
What was that?
We'll have some more lead chat on Thursday. Maybe in the post show.
Yeah, good. Oh, I would like to. I'm going to find some lead facts, and I'll have them ready for Wednesday. Let me put that in the to-do of lead facts. Who are we rating? Are we rating someone? Mitch is back on.
Mitch is back. Mitch again? I mean, I feel like people now know who Mitch is.
Yeah, that's exactly. We should be rating someone else. We should be rating
Osher Gunsberg.
What about Bajo?
Oh, who's that?
Yeah. What about Shroud?
Oh, that young up-and-comer.
Yeah. If anyone has a suggestion, Bajo is on. Yeah, Bajo. We all know Bajo.
People want Mitch. People want Bajo. People want Mitch.
Because the joy with Mitch was that we rated him and people found out who he was.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
We've got 900 people watching at the moment. So if all 900 of you go across.
What about Hey Falcon, says Kit Carnage.
Oh, yeah.
Twitch. Are they a falconer? Because that would be fun.
Falcon. Half-Life
They
Alex.
are playing
The burp is
Half-Life
me.
Alex with
That's pretty
19
cool.
people. We got to do this.
That's
Okay,
pretty
they're
cool.
a VR content creator from Australia, gaming enthusiast, positive human being. That's what we
All
want.
right. I love positive
Okay,
human beings. Let's
Yeah,
back
let's
out
do it.
and then we'll raid.
Okay, cool. So everyone go say hi to Hey Falcon, and I want the message to be Ruffle should change their name.
Ruffle greater than Rotful.
Ruffle greater than Rotful. Ruffle, R-O-F-L, greater than symbol, Rotful, R-O-T-F-L. Okay, good. And then a bunch of pocketies in the chat. All right, thanks very much, everyone, for watching. We're going to back it out, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Bye-bye!